Hi, this is Matthew Weatherby here, Vegan of Power, and you've probably seen a lot of videos out there of people saying we're not omnivores, we're herbivores, and showing you these charts of teeth and all this silly stuff. I think that's pretty much nonsense. Like, we're definitely omnivores, we're definitely opportunists. We were survivors, we were resourceful, we did whatever we had to do to survive. And when we crossed that land bridge and the ice age came and vegetation was a lot harder to come by and whatnot, we were hunting great big huge woolly mammoth and whatnot. We were adaptable, and because meat was such an energy rich source of food, that was a time when our brain evolved. Now, we're in a different time these days, and I'm not gonna say that people that eat meat are smarter than people that are vegetarians or vegans. That's silliness. Like, Einstein and a whole bunch of other people thought vegetarian was a good idea. So, and I mean, people like Gandhi that changed the world were famous for not eating meat. So, yeah, that would just be stupidity of me to say something like that. What I am gonna say is that we're in a time of abundance, not just food-wise, but information-wise and access to information-wise. We have the internet now. We have all kinds of food. We have all kinds of everything. Like, it is a really, really fortunate time to be alive. So whereas certain choices would have required a great more deal of effort on your part, they're a lot easier these days. So personally, it's only been about just shy of half a year since I went vegan, and I've been feeling really, really good the last 2.5 months or so. I did not have a good start, but I'm very much enjoying it now. I've always taken care of myself. I know you have people like Vegan Gains that make it sound like you're just like a medical mess if you eat meat, but I think he greatly exaggerates. I think there may be grains of truth to things he says, but it's definitely amplified for the sake of promoting his cause, and his cause is good, so I understand why he does that. But you know, I was avoiding a lot of processed nonsense, a lot of empty sugar calories, a lot of things that just aren't good for you. I didn't do that, and I exercised, and I was happy, and I lived in a beautiful place, and I just was a strong, energetic, happy, healthy man who was enjoying life. So I haven't had like an extreme transformation since making the switch. I mean, I did have that crash and burn at the beginning, but then I came back up and I feel exactly like how I did before, which is really, really good. I feel really good and healthy, but the difference is that my eating choices are much more in alignment with my beliefs than they used to be. I used to be like, well, nature is harsh and we're at the top of the food chain, and I don't really like the idea of animals having to die for me to eat, but that's just the way it is. That's the way nature intended it. And now I see that it's not that challenging to not eat that way. Like, nothing has to die for me to sustain myself because we have such an abundance of food and we have such an abundance of information. So there's a lot more in a vegan diet than an outsider thinks. Like, they forget about all the rices and pastas and beans, and like, if you are a good cook, which I'm not, you can mix all these different flavors in so many ways because you still have like onions and garlics and spices and powders, and there's all kinds of things you can do, and you can make all kinds of really, really wonderful stuff. You watch some of these vegan channels where they say vegan day of eating, and they'll show you what they had for the day. And I just watched one that Leo Venus put out, And that last meal he made, he had like broccolis and kales and spinaches and onions and black beans. And man, when it was all like in that pot cooking together, I'm like, oh man, that looks so good. And you mix the flavors right, and it's an enjoyable experience being vegan. You're not feeling like you're missing out. So it's really cool. Like, if you're kind of worried about your carbon footprint, or you don't like the idea that so much of our precious rainforests are being torn down, or you don't like the thought of animals being treated so cruelly, you can make this switch, sleep good at night, be happy with your choices, feel like they're in alignment with your beliefs, and still eat good, have an enjoyable experience as you're consuming your meals and stuff. So that's just something I wanted to put out there, because I know from my own personal perspective, when I wasn't a vegan yet, that it seemed like they were denying themselves a lot, and that it would be a lot of sacrifice and whatnot. And there are really good things that I once liked that I don't eat anymore, that if I find a fake version of them, I will be very happy. And they're making more and more fake versions of things that are pretty good. I haven't had a lot of them, but that one chili I had that one day was really good. I couldn't believe how well they did at that. So they're making things better. So yeah, I just letting you know that being a vegan isn't as hard as you think. It's not as restricted as, say, these raw till 4 people, or fully raw, or all that. Like, when you're just a straight up regular vegan that can cook things and choose from all these different things, there's a lot of variety, and it's really, really nice.